Hey y'all. Hey y'all. Okay, turn up. Okay. But God is loving what made from his essence. He equipped us and gave us a weapon. Using love as a way to deflect it. All the hate that they will spray my direction. Instead of catching a fate, I will bless them, yeah. We fight it with love, so that makes us dangerous. Cause we kill them all with kindness, fully loaded, aim and guns. And yes, we fight fear with faith, so we're all fearless and brave. We're not scared of all your threats, we will not run, we're here to stay. Yeah. We fight lies with truth, this Bible's tried and true. Inside this jewels that can guide a fool to Christ, my life to proof, my mind's renewed. With insight and views, these vipers blind to youth, disguise and clothes. And they try to hide that Jesus not for you, yeah. The devil fights tooth and nail, with it again truth prevail. So you can tell him you have been doomed to fail. You choose to refute truth and tell. You too do what you do, rebel. When you lose, cause it's soon lose you well. You screw like a cuckoo, I yell. So fool, he rebukes you to hell. You know, he ain't stay down. Hey. Hey. Hey y'all, turn it up, y'all. This is how we gonna start it off. Hey, 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 hey. Restore. Hey, violence, survivors, restored, reconciled. They did. It's okay though. We on our purpose path. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Yeah. You know, you can stay down, but the hate can stay down. If you can't love, it goes somewhere. Love, you know, you can stay down, but the hate can stay down. If you can't love, it goes somewhere. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Hey, 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 hey. Hello, hello, thrivers, survivors, reconciled and restored. Hello, family. So yes, I just wanted to start it off with a good old intro to get us feeling all good and stuff. You know, so here we are, here we are, here we are. So yes, so I am Tisha. Or you can call me Tony, whichever one you prefer. So I'm here. So, you know, excuse my energy, but hopefully we can pass it on, pass it on. Because today we are here, we are living. Those, you know, that come in contact with this video, no matter if it's today, which today is 9, I don't know, I'm about to say the wrong day. Is it the 12th? I want to say that it's the 12th, honey. Wait a minute, give me a second.
Give me a second. My day's just been doing what they want. Okay, so now technically it's 12:06. So it is technically September the 13th now. So yes, we're in the midnight hour. So yes, you guys, thrivers and survivors, reconciled and restored. So yes, I just wanted to come, and this is going to be my first video. So I hope you all enjoy. Excuse me because this is my first video. I'm a little nervy, but it's okay. We're gonna do this together. We're gonna get through this together. Excuse me, because I have some notes just so that I can make sure that I touch bases on everything that we need to discuss. So technically today is going to be my intro slash going into what my purpose is going to be for this channel, for my family, for my thriving and surviving family, excuse me. So yes, y'all bear with me. Lord willing, I'll get better as time go on, because I'm definitely planning on doing many videos. But like I said, this is just going to be the intro to my purpose and why I'm here, why I feel like this is needed. So we are called to encourage those that are going through, tough seasons, that are going through persecution, that are just going through hard times, that are just feeling weak, those who are feeling heavy, those who have been exposed to toxic relationships, those who have been exposed to abusive relationships, whether that be just physical or mental manipulation, deception, and narcissism. So I see that this is a big topic which is going around. Everybody has been, I guess, waking up to narcissism and just psychology altogether. And our people are hurting. A lot of us are suffering in silence. And I'm just at the point right now that I just feel as though I would love to assist and help those who are going through. Because when you have that knowledge, and even when you sometimes are still in the process of going through yourself, healing also comes from helping others, and we heal together. So I'm not a therapist, or I'm just trying to motivate and then also bring the word of God, into this thing, because this is not a physical battle. This is by far a spiritual battle. This is spiritual warfare. So, we are called to take up our positions on the battlefield. And we serve in Christ Jesus. For myself, I'm not sure about, my viewers out here, but hopefully those who do not follow Christ, that maybe, one day soon that this will also be your path. But no judgment to those who don't. I support whatever spirituality that you may have. We are called to love one another equally, and to not discriminate against one another, due to beliefs or history, other background issues, So let's get it started. So yes, I read a daily bread today that was called, give me 1 second, you guys, because I wrote down some notes. Give me 1 second, my loves. So yes, it's called the Day of Encouragement. So technically, it was Paul, and he was urging the people to encourage one another. Brothers and sisters, he's encouraging us to encourage the disheartened. And so the scripture text that came from 1 Thessalonians 5:12-28. And technically it was Paul speaking about encouragement, and how he wanted us to help the weak and to be patient with everyone, even if we are going through persecution. And that we would not be able to do these things without Christ Jesus helping us, to assist us. He also said that he knew that us as humans, everyone is prone to despair, selfishness, and conflict. So with that being said, we need God to be our help and to be our strength, and he will help us. And how good is that to know that we have Christ Jesus to assist us in this journey, with helping one another, with loving on one another, with being a voice to one another, with letting others know that we are not here alone, that you're not crazy. We might do crazy things sometimes, but no, you're not crazy. I know many of us have been attempted to be invalidated in many ways, in many relationships, whether that was through childhood experiences, And for a lot of us, it started from our childhood. So yes, Paul is calling us to encourage, even as we're going through things, he wants us to uplift one another and to do the same for anyone who is around you as well. Okay, so yes, encourage, encourage, encourage. So that's going to be the word for the day. Encourage, 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 encourage. Because how much can just some words of encouragement do to a fellow brother or sister who is going through? It could be the difference of just feeling despair and loneliness to, just getting that word of encouragement, just to let you know, like, that I'm here for you, that I care, that you are loved, and no matter what the enemy told you or whatever your ex-spouse tried to tell you, or even if this is a current relationship for you, no matter what they tried to tell you, that you are special, that you are someone, and that God has a purpose for you. He's not done with you. If you woke up today and you have breath in your body, he has a plan for you. So without trying to over spiritualize it, but I need you guys to know that this is a battle that, we cannot get through without seeking a higher power, because the flesh is weak. The heart can be wicked. The heart is wicked, says the Lord. So it takes him to purge us and to purge the things that is in us, so that we can become more like him, so that we can follow his way and put away aside the old us, so that we can be new creatures, so that we can be the new thing, because we are called to be that, considering that Jesus gave his life so that we could be reconciled through the Father, and that we may be able to have a covenant where, the Lord gives us life, because Jesus offered his, because he was the one that paid the price for sin, so that we can have life and live it more abundantly. So I'm going to just go through my pages. Please forgive me. So if you see me looking down, that is the reason why. So yes. So it was another text that was technically 1 Thessalonians 5:14. And I'm just going to give you a little summary. And again, this was Paul's first letter to the church of Thessalonica. 1 second. And so yes, technically this was Paul in his ministry. And he was technically teaching about Jesus in the city synagogues. And he also, because of Paul preaching, many people, which was some Greeks, some Jews, and some women, had turned to Jesus. And however, because of this, the enemy was mad. And so it turned into a big riot. And so Paul and his co-worker, which his name was Silas, they had to flee the city. But he begins this text and this affirmation with prayer, and saying that throughout this, his concern was for the new believers, for us to pray for them, for us to encourage them. So now I'm going to go into a little bit about myself. Again, I'm reading from my notes, so please forgive me. I just wanted to make sure that I touched the bases on everything. This is my first video to those who may be just tuning in. So please forgive me. My prayer would be, yes, that as time will go by, it will be a little bit more comfortable for me to, speak more freely. But I'm just going to, Lord willingly, let the Lord lead me with what I feel like he will want me to speak. And before we start off, I'm going to say a prayer. I hope this is not too controversial for anyone. If you feel uncomfortable, you can maybe mute it for a second. But I just want to start it off with a prayer before we go into this. So, our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. God's kingdom come, God's will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, the glory forever. Amen, amen, amen. So yes, so thrivers and survivors, we are reconciled and restored, and those many are going to be on their way. And I speak these things as though they are. So yes, my name is Tisha again. And I know they say women don't really tell their age, but just so it can be a little bit more personal, I am 35 years old. I'm a mother of 2 myself. So this for me is really personal. It's just something kind of dear to my heart. I've prayed about it several times before I have attempted to make this video. Just because I kind of didn't really know where to start, and I just know that this has become a huge topic, and I wanted to come to this platform in the right place mentally and also with my heart. Because for me, it's bigger than, money. I mean, money is a great tool and everything, but healing in a person's life to me is so important. So if anyone would like to donate anything, that is welcome. But for right now, I am just simply here to just serve those who just need encouragement, who need a sister, who need someone to just tell them that it's going to be okay, to tell them that the sun is going to come out and it's going to get better. And we hopefully get to, Lord willing, look back look back at our life, Lord willing, and think like, wow, I remember when I was in this particular place and look how far I am now. So I technically have come from, I'm going to say, a childhood of different traumas, whether that be just being raised partially by a narcissistic father, a mother who I want to say was slightly codependent, but she did have addictions as well. So I believe that mentally she wasn't all the way there. I don't really hold her all. I don't hold her all the way accountable because I know mentally she wasn't all the way there. So God had given me, I guess, a certain understanding to where, so, my heart was always open to her and just wanting her to get help and just loving her through that, And I can say I prayed for many years because it was a long, long time before she finally became, I guess you could say, before she became clean. She's been clean now for, I believe, it's almost 17 years. So yeah, so that's where I'm at with everything. And so technically, I guess through my childhood, I was, you can almost say, groomed to be an adult that become preyed on or make decisions on wrong partners myself that wasn't necessarily in the best, it wasn't the best choice for me, but when you don't know, you don't know. But through trial and error, through God's reproof, I can look now at things and see, that when enemies sometimes do things to us, for the most part, that God always find a way to make it for our good. So I'm thankful. And though at times I didn't understand why I was going through this, I didn't, why me? I try to treat people good, and I don't go into any situation intentionally hurting someone or trying to deceive or use, So for me, I didn't understand how I ended up in relationship after relationship, and it wasn't many, but mainly two personal relationships. Were almost technically the same type of individuals, one less aggressive, you can say, but all in all, definitely manipulative, definitely playing the games, gaslighting, ghosting, invalidating, devaluing, discarding, or myself discarding the person, but them making me feel guilty, so I would go back and give another chance, and then the cycle would continue and continue. We all know how that process goes. But ultimately, it would take me leaving, and then eventually you get tired of leaving. You get tired of feeling like a person isn't going to take you serious, even if you do leave, So I had to come to a place where I was tired of the process of repeating, especially because I have two children. I have a daughter, she's 16, and I have a son, which is 7. And so it's crucial to me as a mother to be careful of the decisions that I make, because they do not just affect they don't just affect me. They affect my children, and I refuse to enable certain behaviors or continue generational curses because lack of knowledge, for just going after what I feel my desire is, even if my desire isn't the best decision for me in the long run. And I believe we all probably have been in this situation, but sometimes we can't really help who we love, but then in certain degrees we kind of can. It's like if we learn the right way to do things, then we can go about the situation differently. And I can say that had I known certain things and red flags to look at to be able to put in a category, then I will be able to look at certain behaviors and characteristics and be like, oh no, this is a no-no, this is a no-no. And even with dating, we a lot of times don't even correctly know how to date. We'll date and start dealing with a person, and we'll just go and it'll just move, I guess. Sometimes it'll be steady, but then sometimes it'll be fast, depending on the partner that you're with or how intense you guys' chemistry is. But we cannot just be led by what we want sometimes, because sometimes what we want is not for us. But I can say that over time I have learned that because I try to consult with God about the people that are in my life. So, for instance, if I meet a guy and I'm talking to a guy, I would ask God, like, Lord, please show me if this guy is meant to be in my life. Though, sometimes God may show us and we may not be obedient to that answer. We may just still deal with that person, and it's like, look, I'm gonna see how it's gonna go. If we don't last, then hey, it is what it is. But that is completely the wrong way to look at it. Again, especially if you have children, because sometimes the consequences do not just affect you. And now, when you have many victims of domestic violence, deaths, a lot of young women are being killed by ex-partners, and I'm not stating that men are not being killed as well, but I do know that there's a big number which is increasing of females which are dying from the hands of their partners or ex-partners, child's father, children's father, things of that nature, which they don't even, most people who have traits of narcissism more than likely haven't been diagnosed. So we can't really say that a person is completely narcissism, because most of us are not even qualified to say such. But we can say based off of the characteristics that we believe and so on. But many people who have personality disorders, because you have other ones, which is, borderline personality disorder. You also have sociopaths, psychopaths, things of that sort. We just have to be careful, because a lot of times with those personality disorders, all that whole group that I just named previously, based off of the person and their triggers, they will fluctuate. So they may not stay just they may not stay a narcissist the whole complete time. They may switch back and forth to and fro. Again, you guys, we have to remember that this is spiritual warfare. So you're dealing with a person more than likely that does not believe in God, or they believe in a God, but the God of darkness, So with that said, everything goes. They have no morals, they have no values, they have no standards. They change their beliefs based on what is suitable for them, based off of self-gain, whatever that they can achieve. So for them, this is a game, and we are in the game. The difference is we don't know that we're in the game. We don't know we're in this competition. It's unseen to us, and a lot of times we are not aware that we're in these situations until we have been in it for some time. As myself, I dealt with someone who had traits of narcissism for, I'm going to say, the process of maybe 2 years, maybe 2 or 3 years, maybe just, this may be the third year, hitting on the third year. So I'm going to say like maybe once out of 3 years, I would deal with this person, and then we would talk for about a couple months, and then I'll be like, he would probably blow up, and I would back up, but because we weren't so close consistently, like we didn't live together, we dealt with each other, and was in the process of seeking to have a relationship. And of course, it started off, and we hit it off pretty fair, pretty good. And he told me, I believe he loved me, like within a month of us, dealing with one another. I actually met him through a friend of mine who spoke very highly of him. Come to find out, after the first like little breakup we had, that this friend of mine who actually introduced me to this male, she really didn't know much about him at all. She only knew him technically from work. So this is another example of how cunning they are, how they can convince people that they're such these great people, and many people don't know much about them. They just know them from what they see at work. And again, we just because we work with somebody, that does not give us the knowledge to know who they are. Like, you can actually be with somebody for some years and really not know who you are. And when you're dating a person that has these personality disorders, a lot of times you will never know who they are because they don't let you in to know who they are. As soon as you get close enough to maybe touch the peak of it, to think that, okay, I'm about to get to know this person, like, we really about to hit it off, it's about to get intimate, like, as far as getting to know one another, they pull away, they push, or they cause an argument, they cause a situation that causes them to ghost you, or that causes them to discard you, or to even cause you to discard them, so that they can have a reason to blame it on you, and then they can become the victim, and then they start the process over with a whole new victim. And meanwhile, you're sitting in silence, suffering, and trying to understand, don't have any closure, but know that you need closure, know that you feel like you want closure. Because a lot of times, us as people that isn't out here just maliciously trying to hurt people, you want understanding. If you communicate pretty well, it's nothing better to you than wanting understanding. Now, I have listened to many channels, and it's so many great people who speaks on this topic. And what I can say is that those who you can relate to, take what you can take from every individual, because I feel like every individual on this platform has valuable material that we can all take from. But when it comes down to it, I don't like the labels too much. So I don't like to claim really codependency, because I don't feel like everybody is codependent. I feel like when you're getting into a relationship with somebody who has a personality disorder, because the other person comes in acting and portraying themselves to be someone else, depending on how long you dated them, when you see certain things, y'all may not even last that long. So it's almost not really being codependent to me, because it's not like you, oh my goodness, I need to be with this person. I can't, it just mess up your mind and make you think that it is that way, because they love bomb you the way they do, and they validate you so much in the beginning that when they take it away, it's literally like the drug. Like, you've been on it for however long you've been on it, and then it's taken away. So it's like, oh my goodness, those chemicals in your brain, it decreases. So now you're actually going through withdrawal symptoms. So it's a lot to take on. It's just like, wait a minute, what's going on? Where's the understanding? And so much you just want understanding, even if y'all going to be together or not. I just want understanding what happened, what's going on, and we was just good. And I think that's a lot of the thoughts for many of us. But then I can say, based off of those that I have listened to, that are trained in this area, that I believe that there are codependents and people that stay in these relationships for, a year, 2 years, 5 years. No shade to the people who have stayed, because trust and believe, I can understand. I can understand why many can stay and that do stay. But again, these things also, like I said, come from your childhood as well. So if you grew up in a home where, your mom or your dad was narcissistic and you weren't validated much, you wasn't really shown love, you was ignored, you had to be the care provider, which that was me. For my siblings, I was the oldest of my siblings, and like I said, I had a mother who was addicted at the time. I think I was maybe between 4 and 6 when my mom started using, and she didn't actually stop using completely until I was 19 years old, almost 20. And I was actually pregnant with my daughter at the time. So she, like I said again, she has been clean since I had my daughter. So thank goodness, I'm so thankful. Thank you, Lord, for that, because that was just oh my goodness, that's all I wanted from my mother. I just couldn't wait for the day to be able to, like, oh my goodness, like, you made it, Mom. And she's doing so good right now. So yes, like, I made it through so much, and because of that, I just always wanted the sense of family and security and love and just validation, and just knowing, that I had a good source of family. And though I believe every family has, their obstacles and their issues, for the most part, my family was pretty cool, but I do see where a lot of the toxic behaviors came from, and that was endorsed by my family, and why my mother may have turned out to be certain ways because of how she was raised, and not literally by her mother completely, by other family members who really didn't want to raise my mom and her twin sister, and in the process of that, things happened to them, her and her twin sister, and then she had me young. My mother twin sister had my cousin, her son, young. So we grew up really close together, which he's like my brother, and my mother's twin sister is like my second mom. So my mother was out there, trying to get herself together. I did have my aunt, but it's nothing like your mother. I always worried about my mother so much. Even if I was elsewhere and I was being taken care of elsewhere, my mind always stayed with her. I always, wondered if she would be okay, just because, the neighborhood we lived in at the time, it was pretty rough. So, back to the situation at hand, it's like, we go through certain things that make us prone to certain type of relationships, because we get so used to certain relationships that we think certain things are okay. So I believe that many of us go through these things so that we can understand the root of the issue, and so that we can find what causes us to choose partners that are not good for our, mental health and our life. Sometimes we have children by these individuals, and that can be this is a blessing, but it can be a very difficult situation for those who are left in that situation, because then you also have the children to think about, because a lot of times these individuals will play the children against, each other. And pardon me if the video was long. Like I said, again, for those who may be just coming in, this is my first video, but this is going to be my introduction to, who I am and what my purpose is. And I hope that you guys get what I'm saying. I hope I'm not rambling too much. I hope that you have understanding. I hope that this can grow to be a really great family, where this is the place where you can come and be set free from the bondage, from the chains, from just not knowing what happened, to being aware that you were in you were in a relationship that was very manipulative, or you were in a relationship with a person who had a personality disorder. And a lot of times those who have these disorders, they don't feel like they have an issue. They don't feel like they need help. They feel like they're doing you a favor by even being with you. But in the beginning, they come off like, you're the best thing since sliced bread, and they just, want to be a part of your life and show you how amazing you are. And then really they just draw you in to break you all the way down, so that they can control you and take advantage of you and use you and abuse you. Sometimes it's not physical abuse, but mental abuse can be just as worse, and sometimes takes really long to recover from. So I just want to encourage you all that, one, we getting through this. We are winning. We will win at the end of the day, because the battle is already won by the Lord, because he got our back. I congratulate those who have made it out successfully from the relationship with the toxic person, because a lot of times you don't make it out unscathed. You don't make it out with mental disorders or having a sense of self. My mom actually went through the exact same thing with my dad, which makes complete sense. And I believe around that time was when she actually started her using. So, and of course, because she left my dad, made me the perfect, I guess, victim for him. And I never understood, like, why I felt like he hated me, why I felt like I wasn't safe. And mind you, I lived with my mother for majority of my life, but at a certain point, when she put my dad on child support, he groomed me in a way to find out information, and like, hey, you should come live with your dad, and if you come with me, you will have your own room, and you better go to a good school. And it sounded great, because I always wanted to have the best relationship with my dad, because he was found guilty and incarcerated when I was about, I don't know if I was 2 or 3. I was really young, but he was incarcerated for about 4 years. And during this process, I guess him and mom separated. He immediately jumped in a relationship with who is now my stepmom, but they're actually separated now. But that's still my stepmom. I love her down, and I thank God for her, because I probably would have been, I couldn't even think of the words that had my stepmother not been there to love on me and to assist me and to validate me. Like, I probably would have been so lost because my dad, all I felt was hate, all I felt was burden, all I felt was, distaste, and he would praise everyone around me, but not me. He made me seem like I was just so bad. Mind you, guys, like, I don't like getting in trouble. I don't like feeling, like, even now as an adult, I don't like to do anything where someone has to come to me and tell me, like, you did this or you did that. Like, so I try to do what I'm supposed to do because I feel like as an adult, if you don't want nobody to say nothing to you, then you do what you're supposed to do. So I try to do what I'm supposed to do. So as a child, I didn't like getting in trouble. My dad is a really big guy. I'm like 5'3". He's about 6'2", 6'3". So was a big guy to me, and I'm really small. So it was like looking at him, like, I don't want to get in trouble by this big man, But it was like literally once he got me to move in, he became like, a whole different person, and that just shows you. But I literally, you guys, did not know that this is what more than likely the characteristics that he had, that I was dealing with more than likely anarchy, or someone who had narcissistic traits, many of them, and I literally found this out last year. So it's been a complete year. I'm gonna say a year and a half now. It's been like almost a year and a half that I've been studying this subject, and studying like, you guys, like, this is a lifestyle now, like, because I cannot afford. I'm like, but I did fall again, and I did fall again, and where I did fall again was with the person that I told you guys about, that I dealt with over the process of, I think, of 3 years, and he was the reason that I started studying the subject. So even though he called himself using me, trying to break me down, and all that stuff that he will deal with on his, from the Most High, I'm thankful in a way because, one, it pushed me to my purpose, but at the same time, it's like, who does this? Like, and I guess I needed to see this because I could not fathom at all in my little mind that it was this level of wickedness. And when you read certain things, or when you read the word, like, you hear that we're not fighting flesh. We're fighting spiritual wickedness in high places and principalities. But I'm just like, I was wild when I realized what I was in and what was being done to me. Like, especially when I don't do anything but try to be a blessing into the life of people that are around me. Like, and I keep my circle small because I know that people can be shady, but not to this level. Like, for the most part, when you deal with a breakup, you're just thinking like, okay, me and a person, we disagree on too many things that are important, or we had too many deal breakers for one another, so we're gonna just decide to just part and go our own way. I can honestly say that anybody that I have maybe dated or talked to in the past, that if I decided to go my own way, it is no ill will. Like, we can still talk to one another. But when you're dealing with these individuals with these personality disorder, honey, no, it's not gonna be that easy. You gonna feel so crazy at the end of it. You're gonna go from, especially if you left them, you're gonna go from feeling like, oh my goodness, I'm free, then feeling like, wait a minute, did I overreact? Then feel guilty, then feel bad, then question yourself, then you might try to call them, or try to understand and get a sense like, wait a minute, am I overreacting? And you just get the mask is just off now at this point. Like, they just so cold to you. They don't have no rap for you. They just one word answers, probably giving you the silent treatment. And at this point, you're probably used to the silent treatment because that's their favorite thing to do. When they get upset, they don't want to let you know. They don't want to give you closure. They don't want to validate anything in your mind. They don't want to give you any sense of security. And being in a relationship, it was never a sense of security. It was always uncertainty, doubt, wonder, that pit feeling in your stomach, like in the pit of your stomach, like you don't know what you're feeling, but you feel something. And we was always told to not trust that, don't go up in your head, or and I was so wrong, like, because I was told that so much, especially by people that I look up to, in my family, that when you're young, you think your elders know everything, because they older, and they they give you that mindset to think like, they've been through life, they're an adult, they know they have to have all the answers, until you actually become an adult and you see how much sometimes like you can be an adult and you can still not have your stuff together. You can still lack so much knowledge, so much, and I see it so much around us because I also was that as well, and I still have so much more knowledge to gain. But I'm committed to this lifestyle because my life depends on it. Others' life depend on it because it's not just about me. It's not just about myself. This journey was not just about myself. God didn't allow me to just go through this just for myself. He allowed me to go through this for you guys so that I can be a voice to you guys to let you know that, there's a light at the end of the tunnel, but we got to keep going forward. Usually when you're going through a storm, your gift is at the end of the storm. If you just keep walking through that storm, you keep going through, your power is at the end of it. But we can't give up, and we cannot let these persons defeat us, whether they are ex-mates, family members, children. When you're dealing with these individuals, this is literally your life on the line, your sanity on the line, your health on the line, your finances, your career, whatever, on the line. And some things you may not recover if you don't hurry up and get back on board. You don't hurry up and get back on that battlefield, because Satan is he's behind it all, because these persons chose to, as children, dissociate from reality. And so now these little fantasies and fake movies, in their minds is life to them, and they are they the same how I am now committed to this journey. They are committed to this script. They are committed to this fantasy, and you're in it. If you dealt with them, even if you call yourself leaving, they're going to do their best to hoover you over and over again. And as long as you continue to keep the door open for them, just a little smudge, honey, they're going to let you back in. But it's going to be on their terms, and that's what you guys need to understand. That's what I had to understand, from trial and error. And again, I dealt with this person 3 times, and it literally didn't last long. I think the 3rd time was the longest time that it lasted, and that was 5 months, you guys, 5 little months. But still, them 5 months was much. So, to the ones who did years, or more, decade, I send so much healing and ask God that He may replenish and restore you, and that you may be healed, and that whatever the enemy came to steal, that God replace, and that He build you up to be secure. But we cannot get to these stages, you guys, if we do not seek something higher than ourselves. Because after all, we agreed. We walked in agreement with these people. For 2 cannot walk together unless they agree. So I take up my portion that I did agree to walk with this person, but with the intention of us walking together. But you don't understand that they're not walking with you. They're walking behind you or in front of you. You're trying to walk with them and keep up, but you always feeling off. You always feeling like it's something something not right. And when you go to them and try to get understanding, what you feeling this way for? I mean, you need to chill. Are you insecure? When the whole time, you for some of us, everybody is not like, oh my goodness, I'm so insecure. Like, I just need you to be with me every minute of the minute. No. I was good. I was working. One, I enjoyed my time alone. I love my time alone. I sing, I write, I dance, I do hair. I do many things, and again, I have my children, and they are first and foremost. So each time I dealt with him, I did leave him alone first, but here it was, because I didn't feel like at the end of it, when the time would pass, I didn't feel like it was anything like physical that happened or about cheating or anything that happened. So it was like, okay, well, it was more of a disagreement type of thing, or just us not having understanding, which that still was enough really at the end of the day. But I didn't know that the malicious nature was behind him. That had I known what I know now, no, he that that grown boy would not have been in my presence, honey. He would not have been in my presence. So what I say to you is that we must seek to inform ourselves. We must try to find ways to walk this journey, because if you're going through this, you're not going through it just to go through it. And trust and believe. However many times it takes for you to go through it, for you to get it, guess what? You're gonna be going through it. And until you pass that test, and I'm literally thinking about the situation so many times that I thought about it, and I'm like, I remember God trying to show me this in certain people, because literally it'll be like you'll seem like you're dating the same person but in different packages, because most of them do the same thing. They may go about it in kind of like slightly different ways, but for the most part, you'll start thinking about that other toxic person, like, you around me a little bit of that. And if you get that sense, that's a big red flag that you need to dip. You need to get up out of it. Sorry. Because, and I'm saying that because I stayed in a situation that I felt like, it was like, wait a minute, you reminded me of this person and we had a bad history, and for everything that he caused, but me wanting to see the best in people, me wanting to look at potential. And again, potential is great, but it's not nothing when a person don't have the ambition and character to put behind it, when they don't have the work ethic to put behind it, so we just falling for what we want it to be or what we think it can be, or thinking that we can love a person past the situation. And that's exactly what that person wants us to do. Yeah, let me see you try to make me different. Everybody before you then tried to love me, and I'm gonna abuse you since you think you about to come in and challenge me, because you loving them, you showing them affection, you being intimate, you doing all these things, trying to be there for them. It's gonna get you punished in the long run, because you're changing their whole life history, because in their mind they have learned that they are the only safe thing. They have learned that there's no one else who's consistent enough, who's safe, and a good person, better than everyone but themselves, because the ones in their childhood have failed them, because they went through traumas as well as children. I guess that's the connection that we do have with them, is that we had traumas that were unresolved, and we don't always realize how prominent these things are still in our lives. Like, we think like, okay, well, I'm not a child no more, I'm past that, when in reality your childhood, that shapes you, and it's going to shape and contribute to certain things in your relationships as as you go out here in this world, and you seek to have relationships. And these are actually not really relationships with these individuals. These are like entanglement situationships, one-sided ships. They're not real. They, like, when you realize these things are not real, that is going to be the driving force, I believe, that's going to really put you in a position where you like, I'm not about to play with you. Because for the fact that you think that you about to come in my life, act like you deal with me, act like you care about me, you don't like me, you envy me for this little stuff that I have, and I'm not even a materialistic person, but the stuff that I think that it's not even a thing. Like, I definitely know that I'm blessed, because the Lord, like, I the little things I have, I appreciate. But to me, it's like, okay, but it's not nothing for me to feel like you should be envious for. Like, what I have is accessible, I believe, by everyone. There's just the simple things in life. I have children, so I have a place for us. I have shelter. I have a vehicle to get back and forth. I have a nice job that provides for me. I still do hair, but I guess the biggest thing of all is just my spirit. I don't like to say energy too much, but my spirit. And that does not even come from me. That comes from God. Like, I pray every day that he purge me from things that take me away from him, or that, can pull me away from him, because ultimately that's what it's about. We're here for a purpose. Everyone has a purpose. And it's no such thing as casual relationships. Either a person comes from you, I'm sorry, excuse me, you guys. Either a person comes from the Lord, or a person comes from Satan. So we have to get in the business of managing relationships, the relationships that we have in our life, because no relationship is just purely a casual acquaintance. A person comes into your life for a reason. They either come into your life to be a blessing of your life, or they come into your life to keep you stagnated and stuck. They come into your life to give you clarity, to assist you, to help build you, or they come into your life to keep you stagnant and confusion. And we all know that the Lord is not the author of confusion. So, we just have to learn to put that love into yourself. I'm not stating that anyone lacks love of themselves, because again, when you're dealing with these individuals, you're being deceived. So I'm not going to tell somebody, oh, you don't love yourself or you're lacking love, because when they coming into the situation, the person ain't just straight up blatantly saying like, yeah, girl, I'm about to drag on you, or yeah, sir, I'm about to drag on you, give me your money. No, they come in with a certain attitude, or it's being a certain character, playing a certain role, and then subtly they draw you in, and then when they feel like they got you in all the way, then they take the mask off, and you really see that they're empty and it's nothing behind it but just a dark soul that don't care, that just want to hurt you. And like I said, I needed, I guess, God to show me this, because for the life of me, I would not think that people operated this way. I just did not get it. But now, honey, oh, no. I'm looking at all the signs. If a person not trying to court, I'm not even doing the dating thing. If you're not godly, or or seeking to have a relationship with God upon me meeting you, there's no reason for me to seek a relationship with you, as far as companionship, being friends. Okay, hi, bye. If you need to talk, if you need encouragement, okay, cool. But nothing past that level, nothing personal, you know. Also, I just want to say, like, you guys, like, your life is so important, and I don't care what those persons told you, what the people told you, what your family told you, that you wasn't enough, whether you was the scapegoat, whether whether you were the care provider, or the one who just, you tell the truth so they can't stand you, because of course, and these toxic individuals, they don't like the truth, they don't like you disagreeing with them, they don't like you telling anything that's close to reality, because they want lies, they want the falsehood, they want the shared fantasy, they want all the mess, they want the drama, the one big person that, oh, I don't like drama, I hate drama, that's not for me. I don't understand why you would lie, because when you lie, then one lie, you gotta lie about another lie, says the biggest liar. And I'm just like, when I even thought about all this, I'm like, wow, you so dedicated to this role of just being so destructive. Like, they literally destroy everything that they come in contact with. And now you literally see why they always, in a funk, or like say if you dealt with somebody who had the traits, and y'all maybe just cool at this point, you're not really dating, you keeping it casual as you think, but they got other plans though. But you're asking like, how your day going? I guess holding on, trying to maintain, I don't know, trying to keep my life, it's like so dry and dreary. And here it is, you just thankful. I mean, that's my life, because I know I've been through so much as a child, and I have, and God have allowed me to overcome and still stand. And even though I still went through things, and I still, went through these obstacles with these people, I still have I'm still thankful for life. I'm still thankful that God allowed me to get up from the situation, to love myself more, to be stronger from the situation, to put more into myself, to pour more into myself, to pour more into my children, to refuse to continue to repeat generational curses, to want to be one, to want to break it, to want to be one, to have my own mind and not let nobody lead me into their own ways. Because at the end of the day, if you do that, then that's like you serving another God, and you're not about to be my God, boy. Like, the thought of you thinking that you about to be my God, to think that they think that when you need me for everything, but you my God, boy, bye. Sorry, y'all. I'm just sorry. Like, it's just like, sometimes it just be like, when you try to think about their thought process, our minds can't do it, because we don't have that level of craziness up there. Like, that's the crazy, and they project everything onto us. Girl, you crazy. Sir, you crazy. You insecure. Oh my goodness, everything. They try to just project that mess onto you. And I tell you today to denounce it in the name of Jesus. Denounce all the mess that they put upon you, the insecurity, the lies, the self-doubt, the invalidation, just making you feel like you're not enough. You are enough, sister. You are enough, brother. You are loved, brother. You are loved, sister. Guess what? If don't nobody else love you out here on these streets, he love you more. He is here to father the fatherless, the sick, the needy, the broken, the desperate. He the one. He the one. So I encourage you all. I'm sorry if I'm all over the place. Again, forgive me if anybody just tuning in. This video was way longer than I wanted it to be, but I hope you guys stay tuned to listen. I definitely, because this is my intro, I'm a definitely try to make it shorter next time, so I don't bore anybody. But I just had so much to say because I just know it's so many out here that's hurting, and I just wanted to say that I love you all. I love you all, and God loves you, and that blood does not make you family. Us being on one accord makes us a family, and those who agree or and come into agreements, we are family. So I pray today that you all get this message. I pray today that this can be the beginning of a awesome start for us, where we break these chains. Well, the Lord breaks the chains, but we call to denounce and break those chains. That we cast down these wicked spirits. That we take up our places on the battlefield, and that we get ready to fight, and that we raise our voice like the Lion of Judah. Because we are not called to be prude. We're not called to be cowards. We're not called to be no victims. I ain't trying to say, oh, I'm no empath or none of that. I feel like that's a little bit too victimizing for me. I went into the relationship because I wanted to be in a relationship, period. And it happened to be not what I needed until when I realized that I dipped out of that relationship. I did not stay in that relationship longer than I should have. Like we lasted the 2 times we dealt with each other, it was 3 months and 3 months. And the last time it was 5 months. And it only probably really lasted that long because he needed my car this time, But when I realized, I peeped, like, wait a minute. It seemed like every time I need my car, you getting an attitude, you shutting down, you getting in your feelings. So I put him to the test, like, a couple times after that. And when I realized, like, wait a minute, you too pressed to have my car. Like, what's up with this? And then when you think you're going to get mad at me about needing my car, when I have my 2 kids, and I work hard, you guys, for everything that I have by myself, okay? I do whatever for my kids on my own. I don't need no accolades for that. I don't need nobody to, oh, thank you. No, I'm good. They my children. So I do what I got to do for them. But for anybody to have expectation from me, when I work on my own, I got everything on my own with the, God, of course. He's the only one that can have an expectation from me. But other than that, sweetie, you don't get to expect nothing from me. You don't get to be entitled or think you're supposed to have my car or think you're supposed to need my money, but think that you God to me. Bye. So again, when I realized that this seemed like a little one-sided, I left. He hoovered me a week later, trying to be the victim. Oh, you wasn't really in a disco round, and that ass really hurt. Boy, bye. Disco round. You lucky that it was a disco round. That's one. Second, disco. No, all the other times you was kind of used to me wanting closure. You was used to me trying to get understanding from you. But what he didn't know or kind of wasn't prepared for was that me dealing with him was the reason I started studying this info, which allowed me to find my root to my childhood trauma and then on forward. So it's like, wait a minute, I've been studying this now almost a year and a half, almost 2 years, baby. So I wasn't for sure all the way, if it was enough to say, wait a minute, he may be this. But this last go round confirmed it. And again, I prayed about it, and God showed me, boop, yes, boop, yes, boop, yes, boop, yes, boop. And I was boop. And I dipped, and I left his butt, and he want to contact me a week later trying to be a victim. Oh, I can't believe you wasn't. Boy, bye. You calling me because you want to be the victim, and you still don't even want to be accountable for nothing. Another thing, they never accountable for nothing. They're the victim. You hurt them. You cheated. You did all these things. All the things that they saying you did, they did. And that's what they telling their recycled little supply, whatever that they got dealing with. That don't even matter to me. Those people don't matter to me. He don't matter to me no more. The only reason why this gets spoke on is because there's people out here who need to be encouraged that y'all gonna get through this, and that please don't let this break you. Please don't stay down too long. Please don't dwell on it too long. That you can do anything through Christ who strengthens you. At the end of the day, we here to be love for one another and to encourage one another and to hold each other hand and to be an ear to one another without any unrighteous judgment. Sometimes, we might have to hear the truth of those, who know a little bit more than us, but we have to be open because sometimes the decisions that we make We don't always know everything, so we have to be willing to be corrected. You know, when a brother or sister corrects you, and it's a righteous correction, you take that correction. You know, it might not feel good. You only feel a way if it's a person who ain't a brother or sister and they trying to correct you, and like the toxic person over there. You don't get to correct me. You don't get to tell me nothing about my life when you don't got nothing going on for yourself, and you need me for everything. You need me to almost be like God. And also please know, doing that, you will cause yourself much pain and strife, because God don't need us doing that. If he ain't causing somebody or trying to control a person to change, who are we to do that? We cannot take on his place. So we have to know when it's our turn to walk about the door. A person ain't gonna change unless they want to change, and that shouldn't really take you to cause that. It should be something they want on their own. You know, so let's stop going into relationships thinking that our love is going to, you know, make somebody change or make somebody love us more or make somebody see. Men know what they want after a certain amount of time, and so do women. So let's stop wasting each other's time, you guys. Let's love on each other more. Let's stop judging each other unrighteously and be here for one another, and try to find ways that we can help one another get past this situation, because at the end of the day, we need each other. We need to be on one accord. So I just wanted to say that. I pray that you all get the gist of this video. I love you all. I'm definitely planning on doing other videos. I hope it wasn't too long. If it is, I'm sorry. It may not be for you. I may not be for you. So I'm not even going to say I'm sorry. I'm going to say this message is going to be for those who need it. So if you stuck into the end, I'm so thankful. If you didn't, I'm still thankful. If I can save one, I'm thankful. Because at the end of the day, that's what it's about. You know, so I'm going to be led, and I'm just going to say I love you guys. And I'm going to say a little prayer hitting out. Again, I am Tisha. And I look forward to talking to you guys. I appreciate everybody who did tune in. I hope you all have a great, great, great night. I hope you all think about everything that I said. And wake up tomorrow. If God wakes you up tomorrow, to know that you can change everything about your life today by just having a different mindset. Do not let this defeat you. They are not living a good life with you, without you. It's done with them regardless, because they are not happy within themselves. They are being tortured within inside every day because of what they chose to be and what they choose to do and what they're going to continue to choose to do. And we cannot change that. So the faster that we get that through our head, the faster we can start our process on to this journey of healing. So please know, we need a foundation first and foremost of something that is bigger than us, that's going to keep us strong, that's going to restore us, that's going to heal us, that's going to give us everything that we need, that's going to replenish our spirits, because this is a spiritual warfare. So please also know, it's not really the person that you fight, and it's like, yeah, it's the person in the vessel, but it's a bigger force, which is a dark being behind them. And so the goal is to destroy you, to take your spirit, you know, to destroy your spirit, because Satan want to take as many as he can with him. So know that if the enemy is willing to go through all that, you are somebody that is special, and you are part of that kingdom up there. And he trying to just show you how to navigate so that you can get closer to your purpose. So please know that. But I'm going to head on out. Again, I love you guys. I thank you guys for taking the time to listen to me. I pray that you all come back. Again, if you didn't, I thank you anyway. May you all have a good night. One love. I love you. I love you. I love you. And yeah, see you soon. Peace.